All right, check game. What's real? That's what we want to know. What's real? There's no telling what you so-called men would do today about what's real. If you brothers would get out with me, you see the need to stand up and make these fucked up bras meet your standards, or at least develop some standards instead of being a Rubbermaid product that will bend and twist any way you want it to do. Women don't need to live up to the standards anymore because the standards have ceased to exist. The shit that, you know, she wants you to do to have her, that you do. That's why she has you. You shouldn't have so many problems getting these women knockoffs. You shouldn't have so many problems getting these bras. You take the same chance with any woman you get at. A knucklehead woman or one that meets your standards. The only thing she can do is accept or reject you. Today, I guess you motherfuckers get dumped by the internet or some kind of social media. You don't care that she sees you as a sucker who never thinks of things like this. But she knows, like I know, there is a sucker just waiting to find a woman to take care of. Then she could be your woman, man, that you had a falling out with for some reason. I mean, most of you are really just lucky because if that sucker that's waiting end up with that woman, see, you're gonna be lost and confused. The reason you're gonna be lost is none of you stand on the principles of having a woman instead of her having you. I mean, that's a lost cause today. You guys don't give a fuck about what's real. So you believe in this abadabba, you say. Well, I'm gonna tell you something I figured out, and maybe it'll help you. If you're about this motherfucking abadabba, and you depend on information from the people you interact with, especially on the internet. I mean, even if they have some good information, it's not going to do you no good. Because when something happens to you in life, it's for a reason. And that reason is so you can learn something that you didn't know prior to having whatever problem. Now, if you are in Indiana and you post your dilemma on Facebook, you may get several responses, but you won't get anything that's meant for you to get. I mean, if you don't stay down in the environment that will give it to you, true. Now, for an Indian motherfucker in Indiana, I'm not saying Indiana particularly. I'm saying Indiana could be any motherfucking where. You got to notice what's around you to see what's true. Now, wherever you see the truth coming from, you got to accept it. Getting shit from the internet is no different than thinking you're going to get shit from a book. In both instances, you will read the information, and all you're going to do is read. You ain't going to go do none of the shit. That's, I'm telling you, if you don't do the things that you read about, then you ain't doing nothing. Life is designed to be lived by those who go through what it takes to live it. You guys try to take shortcuts and don't realize there are no shortcuts. There are no fucking shortcuts. The young men of today are really the true haters of what it takes to live under the Abba-Dabba rules. That's why you guys hate doing shit correctly. All you guys do. And you can call in and say whatever the fuck you want to say, because I'm ready to hear it. Oh shit, I don't have my phone. I need to make sure my goddamn phone is on. Let me do this. All I gotta do is that right there, and I know it's on. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh shit, I don't need that. Do I? Okay, fuck it. Hey, check it out. Wait a minute. Man, this shit kills me. All right. So, where was I at? I, the reason I mentioned these young motherfuckers being the ones that are real haters, because I was accused of being a hater. And I remember when we was in the streets, and a nigga we knew came up on some kind of business, or he got a big lump sum of money and he left the game, especially if that business was somehow related to the entertainment business, like a club or a restaurant. We supported him. We supported him and his endeavor. You got dudes today hating on a brother because he's doing something else. And I'm not, if that's the case, tied to any motherfucking hoe. We didn't get mad at a motherfucker for leaving the life, especially if the nigga stayed fly. We was glad to support his ass, to keep his ass from coming back and getting in the way. Because that's what happens. A motherfucker leave the game and come back, and they be in the way. I'm so serious. Just because he charged us to eat at his restaurant was no reason to think he was trying to play on us like motherfuckers do today. They don't want to support a motherfucker because he the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is a lot of motherfuckers have accused me of leaving hoes to try to pimp on dudes. And they say that my doggone school is just another way for me to charge bitches. That ain't true, because niggas get too much from my school. But I'm addressing it, because I know plenty of motherfuckers pretty willing, a lot of motherfuckers got clubs and shit after they left the game. And all we did was support them motherfuckers. We see a motherfucker getting the tab when he was with the bitch, that didn't detract from his stature. It just disgusts me to be involved in shit when niggas are mad at me for shit that they spreading I'm doing because of what they see me doing. They don't say what I'm doing. They say some version of what I'm doing and try to get at me about it. Now, if they was real about this abba they would be glad to see me doing something. You know, long as I ain't begging from they motherfucking, you know, see, they especially would be glad, you know, since I was fly as a motherfucker. They don't have to, you know, spend one red cent with me if they don't want to. But they would rather call me a game hater because I do not support the bullshit they scream about this abba Q. I have never lived in an era where there were so many one hoe having niggas claiming this Q. I hear you, well, I read you guys roasting each other about some shit, some whole shit. Then the next second you screaming how much of a motherfucker you are. See, real motherfuckers respect the motherfucker return from the streets and not beg from niggas who stay down. That's just how we supposed to roll. When you leave the game, that don't mean you're supposed to be broke, stinking, and hungry. That just means you retired from the way you was rolling. Have you heard the saying, many are called, but very few are chosen? Do any of you motherfuckers know what that means? In our lifestyle, we got to understand that people have a herd mentality. That means just as herds of bison or cattle, fucking or horses, humans flock to whatever they see someone else doing too. So you have a motherfucker that you grew up with. I turn out to them goddamn streets. And he roll. And you get to talk to the nigga sometime. That don't mean you could just take the conversation you and him having and pretend to be doing the same shit. Like all these niggas do that's pretending to be pimping. All they doing, they got a herd mentality. So you got 100,000 bison. They grazing at the bank of this large river. The only thing keeping them motherfuckers from crossing this river is that alligators are in the motherfucker. So every single one of them goddamn bison are scared to death of being eaten by them gators. Now this is a herd mentality, but it's a safe one if that's the case. But let's say I'm a bison and I start to cross first or among the first. The rest of the bison know it's very dangerous, so they continue to graze for it. All the time they thinking of what to do. Now, when another couple of them motherfuckers jump in to cross, the gators know they can get busy. So the gators start preparing for the abundance of motherfuckers that's going to jump in and they could have a feast. Why? Because they know what to do. And they're used to it. They've experienced it. Don't you know if you experience the things that I'm talking about, if you experience any of the shit that I'm talking about, people would be hurting behind you, trying to figure out what you did to get to where you at. When you tell them, you'll be proud to see that ain't none of them do it. Because it takes a certain motherfucker to do what you did. Especially if you did what I did. Anybody can't do it. So the rest of the herd sees my black ass crossing. So they think since I'm doing it, they can do it. So they jump in, and what they do, get ate up by them gators. Not all of them. Some of them make it through. Because that's what the herds do. Once the motherfucker done grazed enough, I'm ready to take my chances. And they dive in. That's what they think. And they head across. Motherfuckers see me in the river and damn near on the other side. So they dive in. And before you know it, the herd is across the river, minus a gang of them motherfuckers that got eight. Leaders are chosen by the path they take to lead. In order to rise among the chosen, shouldn't you need to prove yourself by enduring and crossing that river? You got to take that chance across that river to show it can be done. Just like I did. Left that motherfucking pimpin' squared up like a motherfucker. Been suffering from head to toe as far as I'm concerned. But, my worst day is a lot of people's best day. So, I've heard some of the silliest shit about a personal friend of mine. I ain't gonna repeat it. And I ain't mentioning his name, but the source the shit came from, well, let's just say I believe it. Why do people think they need to get out of their lane? I just don't understand it. You come up doing something slick and you do good. And once you start doing good, or once you think you're doing good enough, you want to flip and you change lanes. Why do people do that? I stayed in my lane. I stayed in my lane in the streets. And when I realized it was time to change lanes, I created a new lane for me. That don't necessarily make me better than the next motherfucker, but it keeps my jacket clean. That's one of the most important things you can do when you're out of the streets. Clean jackets are rare, and I have one. You guys out there in the streets, you just don't know what opportunities will come to you. Because it's coming to you because you lived your life in the fast lane and you left with a clean fucking jacket. Do you know how much business knowledge you get from running a crew of hoes or a crew of niggas? Don't you realize all that lying and faking you doing can help you tell a hell of a story in a fucking book? You motherfuckers want to be so cheap to this alphabet. You film everything with your phone. And then you want to talk about quality. Some of them phones do quality shit. I will admit that. But you still got to know what you're doing when you piece that film together. Yet, when quality is presented to you, none of you support it. It's not quality you want. It's shit for free. That's what y'all want. I'm wearing so many fucking hats because the streets taught me to be a jack of all trades, but be sure to master one. I mastered what I did and what I'm doing because I mastered thinking. Nothing, and I do mean not a thing, will stop me from getting where I want to go. I always talk about making accomplishments. So I'm an example for all of you to witness. If you really want something, you can fucking have it. I am a brother who will always claim. Caller, what's up? All right, man, cool. Well, I mean, what made me get into the game is just, I wanted to be fly. I wanted that life. Not necessarily the pimp life. It could have been any of that hustling shit. But I gravitated to the pimp life. What made me change was I had done quite a few major things. And it was enough for me to think that I was ready to retire. But I retired. I wish I would have stayed down like a lot of niggas did. Uh, I probably would have went through that slow period I was going through and came up again on the other end. But I don't regret none of it because I'm doing what I'm doing now and I'm loving this shit. I'm really loving helping these brothers I'm helping. So that was a good question, man. And I'm glad you called in. Uh, for me to keep going, when you are first of all, I am going to claim all kind of shit. I will claim to be able to do the largest thing possible. When you in the motherfucking life as I was, and you simply settle for what those hoes are bringing you in, you should be shy. The only kind of man that succeeds in this life is a hungry man. A man who's hungry than a timber wolf. A man so hungry he's white around the mouth as Al Joseph. A hungry man is always looking for a meal. And that meal for us is the challenge of being better than all you know. No person, friend, foe, cousin, brother, or any man will be given the go ahead of me card. They're just not. I am not gracious in that way. If you can't get it, you don't deserve it. I took what I got, and I ain't gracious about my self-worth, and I won't accept any short change concerning any activity I do. As men of integrity, we all should strive for perfection. Now I know it will be a daunting task trying to be perfect, but you can do it. We all can do it. I know I did it in my street life and in my square life as well. Why dream of coming in second place? Who does that anyway? Life is too much, and so am I. I've been consumed with doubt concerning this last phase of action or this last phase of my life. And I really think this that I'm not youthful and wanna be out there like I was. Because when you out there, you generate shit. I'm not out there as much as I should be, was. And what I'm generating is showing is fucking slowing down. Now, it mean that I ain't stopped thinking. And I'm not gonna stop thinking. But ever since I began this doubt, I've been wondering about different paths. That's why I'm, doing this particular video. Because even though I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I already know it. But I gotta say this shit. I gotta go through thinking this shit. Because I do that, especially on the doubt tip. I have doubt so I can plug up any hole. When I have this doubt and I'm plugging holes that the doubt is showing me, I continue to think there's something else I can do. But if I don't see it real soon after plugging them holes, I go with what I have. So I never change lanes. It's just I know how to juggle in the same lane, thinking different things. It's the same way with my classes. I doubt whether they know what they're looking for, which boosts my energy to teach it. The last semester forced me to redesign a previously designed class, and I had to use a new instructional design. I chose a plan, quality mental maintenance. And I changed it to a PowerPoint presentation so that my new semester would have something that they could keep with them. And I tagged it with the label negative behavior. Now I racked my brains on what to do. I was wondering, should I add audio to it? Should I do this or that? And all week I wondered or worried until last night. Well, last night was the night when I fucking wrote this, which was 2 weeks ago. Now, after having such a good time on my goddamn show, I'm going to fucking change my shit to a mind map and map the progress. That's going to be a different assignment, though. I hit my students with that idea, and I'm looking forward to the results. Of course, making a mind map presents its own set of problems, specifically how to fucking save it to my computer in the phases that I want it saved. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to figure it all out, and it's going to turn out to be what the doctor ordered. Now, none of this would happen for me without the doubt I was just talking about that I have from time to time. You see how much shit I just came up with? That's because I'll be having this doubt. And this doubt makes me think. This is what I mean about being honest and real with yourself. I'm a firm believer in the fact that doubt is one of the best driving forces in my life. Now, I didn't get a lot of calls, but I enjoyed this fucking shit. I'm gonna start doing this shit a little more. And you look for me a little more. I'm gonna.